somebody told me early in recovery. This was really early in recovery. I must have been 18. A man told me that happiness, the definition of happiness was contentment with whatever is happening. This guy was my case manager, I guess you could say. He was a former Hells Angels biker from California, and I was living in the Ozarks at the time when he and I crossed paths. He took me, he and his wife both took me in and showed me humanity. And I'll tell you, I'd never been exposed to the Hells Biker culture. I wasn't exposed to the Hells Biker culture through my case manager, but he had the tattoos and he had the stories, and I'd seen things in movies, but had never met someone in real life. And his wife made excellent bread pudding. I ate a lot of bread pudding at their home one night. I went with him and another man, a pastor from Australia. And when I was 18, they took me and put me on the Buffalo River in the Ozarks. And that was the first time I ever went on the water. So I didn't get to go back and get on the water again for almost 15 years, I guess. But that Hells Angel biker told me that in his journey, in his recovery journey, happiness was being content with what's happening, whatever's happening now in the moment. That is happiness. It took me a long time to really wrap my head around that, because I always thought, happiness had to be this feeling of, happy feeling. And we know what happy is, right? The feeling of happy. Because if you're not happy, you're something else, right? You're sad, but what he was talking about fundamentally wasn't about an emotion of happiness. It was about a state of happiness, a state of being happy. Because the reality is you cannot experience contentment with whatever's happening if you lose track of what's happening in the moment, the reality of a situation. They talk about getting lost in the moment, and we'll allow other emotions, anger or sadness or grief, or anger is a big one, of course. We'll let those bleed through, and we'll pretend like because we're not elated in the moment with some of the opposite feeling of anger, therefore we must not be happy, or if we experience anger more frequently. And so if I'm happy today, doesn't mean I haven't experienced anger all day, off and on, little moments when things, I don't like calling them triggers, because anger's a healthy emotion when it's used appropriately. When you respond to emotion of anger, it's designed. This was a whole different man who told me. This is a man who taught an anger management class that I had to attend 3 times in my 20s, court ordered, because of my public intoxication, my disorderly conduct, my resisting arrest. I have so many stories. We're about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I have a pit bull who's passed away here within the last few months, and he lived to be, what was he, 15, 14. He was 14. I had him since he was a puppy, and he was a rescue puppy. He and I we got arrested on a Memorial Day. I was drunk and got into it with some cops. I was definitely not happy, and they didn't know what happiness was then. Boy, I flew off in a fit of rage, though. I really allowed anger to run me, and that ended up, me and Max, my dog, we ended up going to jail that day, in the middle of the afternoon. Me barefoot in a wife beater, and him with his just being a pit bull. Let's see, we were downtown Lexington, and I had animal control, 2 cops on bikes, Fayette County Sheriff, 2 squad cars, and fire and rescue, I guess, just in case. It was not a good day. So after I bonded out, I had to go bond my dog out. It is what it is. That was a long time ago. I haven't even had a speeding ticket in 10 years, so knock on wood. It's not that I don't speed, but obviously I don't speed in the same way that, with drinking. If I were able to moderate, I'd still drink, but I never could moderate. So it elevated all my emotions, including anger, but not happiness. Tell you what, drinking did not make me happy. And maybe in the moment, but after a while, that does not get fun anymore. So I've got about 90 seconds left. I want to just wrap this up this evening. It's beautiful Easter. And say I'm happy. I'm so happy. I can, after 10 years of continued sobriety, I'm the happiest I've ever been. 40 years old. I'll be 42 here in a few months, so I'm in my 40s now. You heard the kids in the background. So, looking forward to sharing more about my thoughts and things. And if you have any questions, let me know.